Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy, CL Anthony, and my main man, Bryce Ward. What is going on, Bryce?
Not much, man. Just glad to be back. It's been a very, very long couple weeks for me. So I won't get into the details. I've just been very either sick or worn down or just working a lot. But glad to be back on here to talk some basketball.
Yeah, it's free agency shit. I mean, officially, people can sign their deals tomorrow, but we had a lot of announcements the last couple of weeks. So, what has surprised you so far about free agency, and what's like been exciting you so far?
Um, some of the bigger moves, I mean, that everybody's been talking about has been exciting to see. Um, the LaMelo trade, well, first of all, of course, everybody knows the Giannis trade. Everybody was waiting for that to happen. That kicked off. Then we got LaMelo. Then we got Kawhi. Kawhi was maybe the most surprising to me. And just because, not that we didn't think moves were going to be possible or made or anything like that, because there's so much up in the air about the what are we calling it now? The Kawhi situation, the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's so much up in the air with that alone that it seemed like the future for the team and Kawhi were a bit, undecided or uncertain. So I guess I was just wondering what the Clippers were going to do, period. And then Kawhi is always a bit of a question mark. It's always been a pretty mysterious guy in the league compared to some others, like, who stream and voice their every opinion. Kawhi is a bit more quiet, so you never know what he's going to do. I was surprised to see that he said he would only re-sign with, what did he say, Toronto?
Only Toronto.
And the Clippers, right? Well,
Yeah,
there was another two. Yeah.
He was never going to resign with the Clippers. He was never going to resign.
Do you think he wanted to stay there, though?
Had the stuff not came out, yes. But again, this was a play made by the NBA to move Kawhi as far away from the Clippers as they could. Also, the Clippers owner is the director of all the other owners in the NBA. So it's in his best interest to move Kawhi away from the Clippers so they don't have to come down on Ballmer so hard. Mm-hmm. So this is a second stage of collusion that a lot of people aren't talking about. I just want to throw that out there.
And also, it might not save them. You know what I mean? This is a ploy on their end to be like, don't remember that. Don't remember that thing that happened. Don't remember it. He's not here anymore. Remember, he's in Toronto where he was before. It's like it never even happened. Right. It's like it never even happened. The Kawhi move to Toronto was pretty surprising. I don't know. I'm kind of confused as to what Minnesota's doing, just in terms of they're going to be such a different team and they've had a bunch of success. So I'm just kind of wondering if they're going to take a small step back just from the the continuity side of things. Yeah, it's kind of the same, bit confusing, like you said, with Detroit. What's Detroit doing? What's that going to look like? They have a lot of different, I would say, lower key guys coming in and out. No real big splashy move outside of just retaining Duran, if that's going to happen. They haven't even come to terms on that yet. So I don't know. There's a few teams that's like it's up in the air, but in terms of the moves that have already went down, I've just been enjoying all of it. I like to see the league get mixed up, and this is possibly one of the busiest and biggest movers of, I would say, more than just average players that I've seen in a very long time. So I've been enjoying it. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of anyone that really more surprised me. There's been so many, it's easy to forget one or two. But yeah, it's been an exciting time so far, and it's not even over yet. I mean, we still got LeBron James.
Yeah.
to decide where he's wanting to go.
Keep in mind that Detroit already got Durant's replacement in John Collins. I mean, he can start. You know what I'm saying? I was
But they need
shocked that
a power forward. Tobias is gone.
yeah, I was shocked that Tobias left to go to the Spurs because I do think that's going to hurt Detroit a little bit. Um, and help the Spurs,
He
but
was good in the playoffs for them.
yeah, he was great. Like great, he was the second best player.
Yeah.
Um, so the elephant in the room. Oh boy! All right, this levels to this. There's layers to this, and I know last week you couldn't be on, and me and Pat touched on our thoughts before it actually went down, and then it went down, and then even more slander started coming out. Right. So as I said last week, Boston didn't have to do this. There was no point where Boston had to do this. Their offer was never going to be as good as Miami based on what Milwaukee wanted. They just wanted to slide in at the very end and say, "Hey, let's just dangle Jaylen Brown so we can stop Giannis from going to Miami." This was a self-inflicted wound. It was.
Mhm.
So Jaylen Brown, of course, was traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. The Sixers already had a great, fucking fantastic lineup, and now you add Jaylen Brown to it. The Sixers and the Celtics are rivals, same division, see each other 4 times a year. We're gonna get into that a little later because, like I said, it's levels to this. Okay,
They're close to each other. They're not far. Their fan bases are both extremely opinionated. They do not like each other. And then you take back one of the worst contracts in the NBA.
In two draft picks, there's going to be low draft picks because the Sixers are going to have some good seasons. So
they went from trying to get Giannis to trying to get a trade package to just trying to get him off the team. And the fact that he went to Philly for what he did is just only adds to why this situation is so off and so odd. There's not a single Boston Celtics fan that understands why or approves of this at all. I have not one that I've seen.
So I've been juggling this in my head. Like I'm going to be all over the place with this because there's just so many angles with it. As shocking as the Luka Doncic trade was last year, I think it was shocking because one, there were not really there was no whispers about it. It happened overnight. Like no one saw it coming. This thing with Jaylen Brown, as soon as it leaked out that the Celtics was trying to, get in there, we knew what was going to happen. Okay. Jaylen Brown has never said that he wanted to be traded. He only questioned, why am I always the one that is in these trade talks and not the other guy? Okay. Then all the stuff started coming out about the statistics and analytics, and the analytics say that Jaylen Brown is the 7th best player on his team.
The analytics aren't even just like trying to be honest. It sounds like they're trying to hurt people's souls.
Like Boston even was like, well, we're surprised that we didn't get a lot of trade offers for Jaylen Brown. Like his value's deflated. Well, you're the guys that did it. Jaylen Brown didn't do any of this. You guys did it. And yes, you're correct. Everyone in Boston is upset. Everyone in Boston is upset. And now they had a press conference 2 weeks ago. And now, after all this backlash, they're going to have another press conference tomorrow. What the fuck are you going to say? You're not going to say we're sorry.
Did you see Jaylen's stream where he came out and talked about it? Yeah. He said it seemed like even after trying to get traded or after their discussions, that it seemed like they were still like kind of cool with just like bringing him back. And then, or he acted like the situation wasn't what it became. And then he said, just out of left field, like out of nowhere, it's like it all just changed. Mm-hmm. And I've been listening to guys talk about like Boston guys, like what really happened behind the scenes. Is it just that he's streaming? Is it just because he's voicing his opinion more than other players, or is it did he run his course in the locker room? There were other rumors, and then he says it on the stream. If you think you're the smartest guy in the room, that's fine. If you're in everybody's face all the time in the locker room talking about it, that can get a bit old. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody here. There's lots of rumors circling the situation. And since we're not in the offices of the Boston Celtics and we're not in those locker rooms, all we can do is speculate on what we're hearing. So it sounds like, for whatever reason, probably multiple reasons, that maybe the Boston ownership group didn't really want to even deal with this anymore. Like, how much of it is them? How much of it is Brad Stevens? How much of it is the team, like players not wanting him back? How much of it is Jaylen Brown just warming out his welcome? Or how much of it is, none of it? And it's just one or two guys that don't like him, or the analytics that they've been driving their team off of for years now. Did it just kind of point them in the wrong direction finally? And it got them in trouble.
This is what I think happened. Especially with the smartest guy in the room comment. In the history of sports, intelligent white athletes are always praised for their intelligence. Oh, this quarterback is so smart. He's a great, he's this, he's that. When it comes to black athletes, it's, oh, he's so athletic. Do. But if you have an intelligent black athlete, then it's, oh, well, he thinks he's the smartest man in the room. It's bullshit. Okay. I've been in situations, I've told you this, where I had to, quote unquote, dumb myself down so I didn't make anyone feel insecure about their own insecurities. Okay. So it's just like, Jaylen Brown absolutely did nothing wrong. I have said on this podcast, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they don't hate each other. Their games don't mesh, but they don't hate each other. They're, they're cool. They do their own thing, but they do not hate each other like, let's say, Michael and Scotty, or no, they're cool. With that said, there's one person in Boston that has enough clout that could have stopped this, and he didn't. And I believe Jason Tatum could have stopped it. It was so much noise out there. Tatum, he didn't have to do it public. Tatum just could have went to the ownership and like, look, man, this ain't this ain't the move. Let's keep JB here, and let's just continue to build. So and he did release a statement a day or two after Jaylen Brown was traded, but I do believe Jason Tatum could have stopped this. But we know Jason Tatum is going to go along to get along. He's not going to, quote unquote, ruffle anybody's feathers like these fake narratives that Jaylen Brown has ruffled people's feathers. Like, Jaylen Brown has done nothing wrong in the league. He's only enhanced social issues and all kinds of shit. And he's just, this is what I'm going to say. If you know, you know. I know you know, but some of the listeners might not know. Jaylen Brown, a real one, and he's not going to let anyone else shape his narrative. Jason Tatum, on the other hand, is okay with letting whoever needs to shape his narrative shape it just so he can look like the golden boy. Jaylen Brown doesn't care about being the golden boy. He just wants to be a good basketball player.
What do you think is the difference between how JB has went about it and the way oh my gosh, I was just thinking of his name. I'm thinking of the situation, Kyrie. Because Kyrie has never been one to really not speak his mind as well. And at different situations that has created a bit of some drama around him, for better or for worse. What do you think? Do you think there is a difference between them in terms of just the type of person they are, like about speaking their mind, whether or not that ruffles feathers or not? Do you think there's a difference in how they are being handled or the delivery or what? Because when you say those things about Jaylen, it makes me think about certain situations that Kyrie has been in as well. So do you compare the two at all, or do you think there's like a common denominator with these guys? Like, is there something to be learned from or to know? Yeah, I guess insight into the situation by looking at some of the stuff Kyrie's been through.
They're similar because name one thing that Kyrie Irving has done, quote unquote, negative, outside of refusing to take the jab and then liking a tweet.
Um, nothing like that. I mean, besides acting like he didn't want to play with LeBron anymore, everybody wanted to play with LeBron.
I
No,
get
I'm
that.
just joking. I'm just
No, no,
joking.
no, I get that. Yeah, so Kyrie hasn't really done anything. Like,
Mm-mm.
but stand on business, and y'all know what that means when I say that.
Well,
So
also though, you mentioned refuse the jab nonchalantly. There was a time where that was a very big deal for not just the NBA, but for everybody. If you didn't want to take it, some people really didn't like that.
correct, but that was everybody's own personal decision. You get what I'm saying? It's not
Mm.
like it was against the law to not
No.
take it or take it. That was his
Mm.
personal choice. We know some people who lied about taking it, which I ain't gonna say their name, but they're a free agent right now. But anyways, okay. Anyways, um, no, it's similar situations to where if the majority feel like they can't control you, then they will try to get rid of you. Um, you probably heard my story last week, which was accurate, where I was told I wasn't a good fit, and I've never heard that before. And I said, "What does that mean?" Well, you're just not a good fit for the company. I said, "Okay, well, off the record, can you tell me what that means?"
Mm.
No, no, we're just going to move forward without you. Okay. I'm just like, okay. Shit like this happens. Okay. It does. It is
Mm.
weird. So I I do know this. I love Philly. I've always loved Philly. God, they look good, man. They look good, man. God damn. Boston really made a mistake with this. They did. And remember, this is the team. Philly's the team that beat Boston.
Oh, I know it, and from the conference and local to there's a lot of things that go into this. Philly will have to figure out some continuity things on like I wouldn't be surprised if they don't look as okay. Well, this is for any team, so I mean, it's whatever. But I expect them to look better towards the middle and end of the season once they really figure out the ball sharing side of things. Because now you got Maxey, Brown, and Edgecombe, who just showed he doesn't. You don't need to stunt Edgecombe's growth
Right.
because kid looks special.
Right.
It's like, but throwing JB in there to help with the ball handling and just the overall load. If you can save Embiid minutes and keep him somewhat healthy by having that squad of guards, then you're really cooking with something.
Yeah.
If those guys can stay healthy.
Those guards are great offensively and defensively, so that takes a
Mm-hmm.
lot of pressure off of Embiid.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move right along to my favorite topic, LeBron James. Of course, LeBron's gonna find a way to make it about him, and he's done it again with
Yeah.
decision 2.0. So before we get into his possible destinations, how do you feel about the way he's maneuvered right now? Agent on the podcast with the whiteboard saying this might not be done quickly. It might take a while. How do you feel about LeBron
this
James?
this isn't 2.0. This is like a bad horror series, and we're on decision 5 or 6. Come on. Anytime there's a chance he can leave, this is always headline news. It's a testament to his career and what he still brings to the table. He can still be a valuable player on a winning team. And there's teams that need that will pay for that, even if they won't pay as much as he originally was hoping for. There's not a team in the league that's going to pay him what he, I think,
Oh,
was originally hoping for. Not one team.
yeah.
So that's why a lot of the narratives change too, where it's just like it's not just about where he can get paid. It's about all these other things too.
His
I'm
happiness.
even I'm even hearing the Cavs are gonna try to make sure they got an open roster spot for Bronny. I know that would never happen in Miami, right?
No, no.
Saving a roster spot. Yeah, they already told Giannis keep your brothers far far away from here. But yeah, I mean we're in the King James drama for yet the fourth or fifth time in his NBA career, and yeah, it gets old after a while. But I love that I love the disarray that the Lakers and the Lakers fans were in for a few days there. When it looked like they didn't have they lost. LeBron's not coming back. You just gave Reeves the deal that everybody thought you would, but you lose Cornette, right? Is it Luke Cornette or
No, Kennard.
Kennard? You lose
Yeah.
Kennard, you lose Smart. It looks like Rui's not coming back. DeAndre Ayton, you finally got is traded, but it's because you twerked so hard for Walker Kessler. That one blew me away. No wonder Utah. I mean, the money is like one thing. That's on the high end, of course, for Kessler, especially without really proving too much. Last year, he was hurt so much he didn't get to prove himself. That's a lot of money. And that's some assets that they gave up to get to him. I was surprised. Were you surprised that they gave up that much for Kessler?
Yeah, but they did get some picks back with the Ayton trade, so yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The Lakers were in disarray for a couple of days. But here's
Lakers fans were down bad for a couple of days.
We said all year LeBron was gone. We said before the season even started when they didn't give him an extension. LeBron's not going to stay there. The Lakers knew this. Even that bullshit injury he had to start the season, LeBron wasn't hurt.
Did you see the fans going back and forth with AD?
No. What happened there?
Someone wrote or I forget where it was exactly. I think it was on IG. Said something like, "Oh, it's funny to see Rob Pelinka backdoor Anthony Davis and LeBron James, or backdoor, maybe just said Anthony Davis, but was like, and the moment they're gone, they go and get Luka a center when AD had been begging for a center the whole time he was there."
Mm-hmm.
And they just kind of pointing the situation out, and then AD laughed at it with like multiple smiley faces and stuff. Yeah, it's I don't know. After these recent changes and signings, have Lakers fans changed their mind on Rob in the last few days? Are they back on his side? Because for a few days there, they were not happy with him.
I mean, they made some moves. They brought in some more exceptional whites. They're just the Snow Town.
That's the whole thing. Oh my gosh.
The Snow Town Lakers.
Did you see Club 520 respond to Stephen A, calling him out? Like, that's kind of out of pocket, talking like that,
Shout out
the LA suburbs.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff Teague and the crew there. Also, we love y'all. The Lakers are probably going to be a play-in team this season. Then next season they'll get better. They're probably going to be a playoff team because they brought in a lot of pieces, man. They brought in a lot of pieces, and their defense got worse.
Yeah. The defense took a step back. They're going to have to figure out how to out talent people constantly on the offensive end.
I am in my mid-40s, as you know. Dreading number 50, by the way. It's like, God damn, I might not even make it to 50. In my 30 years of watching the NBA, I have never seen a sports agent go on a podcast with a whiteboard.
Nobody, you're not the only one. That's never happened before.
Yeah, it has never happened before. So here's my thought process behind it. LeBron James already know where he gonna go. This is just schematics and drama, and he already know where he gonna go. I don't see him at this stage of his career going to a team that he hasn't been to before. Okay, so that leaves Cleveland and that leaves Miami. So my question is for him: are you really trying to win a championship, or do you just want to have this? I want all the NBA fans to suck my dick for the next 2 years before I retire. Okay. So if he
Do you
decides, oh, go ahead.
then okay? I'm just I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to care. I want to have a conversation about what you just said. Do you then believe the rumor that if that was the case, do you think he would have went to the Knicks if they didn't win a championship like they just said? He said he
No.
was gonna the Knicks. There wouldn't have been a whiteboard. The Knicks would have
Right.
been the choice
Right.
if they didn't just win a championship. Because then if he goes to the Knicks, you have the Knicks fan base kind of
Right.
like what you just said, where he wants to be the fan. He wants to be the NBA golden
Right.
boy still, kind of.
Yeah, I don't believe that. That was just talking after the fact. Um, it's just we know what he is off the court. We know what he is on the court. He could help any team out. Hell, he could help the Magic out. You know what I'm saying? But it's
We don't
just
have enough shooting though. That whiteboard didn't tell us anything we didn't already know. No shooting. We're like, come on. We know
but
we don't have shooting. The whole league knows we don't have shooting.
it just comes down to, are we going to see the LeBron James that we know, or the LeBron James we always wanted? I'm going to tell you, and I'm not being a homer, if he was to come to Miami and play 2 years, there's a good shot, there's a good chance he could get that sixth ring. I don't see that in Cleveland. I don't. Do I want him in Miami? Absolutely not. No, I don't. But from a basketball standpoint, between those two teams, it makes the most sense for him to go to Miami. Golden State, I was
Mhm.
never entertaining that. Y'all too old. Y'all in the West. Y'all gonna take turns missing fucking games. Jimmy gonna find out a way to be pissed. No.
I wanted to see it so bad.
Did
I
you?
wanted to see it. So, yeah, for the sake of the league, just for how I always throw the chaos meme
Yeah,
into the
yeah,
chat. That's
yeah.
all. I just want chaos.
The Wizards killed that. They're like, nah, we ain't moving that. They killed that.
The
So
rumor I saw a rumor where it's like, or not rumor, but one of the listed teams that he could go for, and it's like down low on the list of like possible options was Washington, and I was like, do y'all know that like no one wants to go there ever?
So I don't like I said, I don't think he goes to a team he hasn't played for before. Well, of course the Lakers are eliminated from that because he was like, fuck y'all, I'm out. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
So again, for basketball reasons,
Mm.
where you can come to a team and rightfully be the third option behind Giannis and Bam, because in LA you probably felt like you were still better than Reeves at least. You didn't want to be the third option there. You go to Miami, you can be the third option. You go to Cleveland, you'll be the second option. He would. I'll give him that.
Also,
But
you're
my,
right about the basketball fit, or the Heat out of the three top guys. It wouldn't hurt to have LeBron as another ball
right,
handler out there.
right,
Uh, Cleveland has all kinds of people to handle the ball, or at least two guys who really need it in their hands a lot.
right.
I think for basketball, he does fit better in Miami.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Strictly for basketball. So, like I said, it comes down to the LeBron we know, who is a fake and a phony and arrogant and the king and wants people sucking his dick until he retires, versus the LeBron we want, the one to keep chasing that ghost. I'm not saying the Heat would do it, but let's say LeBron James goes to Miami, gets 6 rings. He's at 4 now. I think it won't change my mind, but it would change the mind of a lot of people. Well, damn, man, he caught Mike, even though Mike didn't take no L's. But LeBron would be 6-6 in the finals. He's going to the finals 12 times. That's great. Out of all the stats that people make up about LeBron James, they make up. I mean, just first player to do this. Fuck all that. The most impressive thing on the court about LeBron James is every franchise he's played for, he's won a championship.
Mm.
That's a lot of players can't say that who's jumped around. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the most impressive LeBron James stat. With that said, he knows where he's gonna go. This is all a charade, all schematics, all whatever. I didn't want this to be the summer of LeBron again, but here we are.
So at least it's not as impactful as it has been in previous years. You know, we did have the Giannis, we had Kawhi, we had all these other like really big names move too. So it's not like it. At least it's not all LeBron coverage all summer like it has been sometimes before.
So what do you think he does? Do you think he remains to be the fake king, the false prophet, and goes to Cleveland? Or do you think he's serious about chasing that ghost and goes to Miami? Because I just think those are the two teams.
It's a coin flip. Okay. I wonder how much he really thinks he can win a ring. I think he'll be lucky to get another one, period. It's just so hard to win. There's so many more variables, I feel like now, that just have to be perfect, or you have to catch some luck on. So even the teams that we would say have the best chance of winning, like top 2-3 teams, there's still a level of luck that has to go into really being able to pull it off. So I think even when you set yourself up perfectly, it's still a big roll of the dice. So whether or not he's on the best team to win a championship or anything like that, I still think he'll be lucky at his age. He's only got a couple of years left where he can realistically win another championship. So I think he will be lucky to get one. Look, the Heat on paper, I like the team. I still got to see. There's like a bunch of teams we don't know. There's so much change. On paper, yeah, it sounds good. Let's see what it looks like on the court. The Heat could be the best team in the East, or it could take them some time to figure things out. Or someone gets hurt, which is the caveat for every good team out there. Every team, it doesn't matter if you lose your one or two top guys. Very few teams who can afford. Few teams that have 2 or 3 top guys and pay them like top guys can afford or have the depth to make up for one of those top 2-3 guys going down. At least if very few teams can survive that nowadays. So the caveat is the same for all teams. So nothing is a guarantee. So I don't know what to expect out of the Heat yet. Can they come out of the gates just blowing out teams? Would that surprise me? Not really. But if midway through the season, y'all are like 5th or 6th because the East is going to be insane from 1 to 10, that wouldn't surprise me either. But we've also learned late in the recent years, it's less more to do about your playoff seeding to me now than it is, are you healthy and is your team firing on all cylinders at the right time? We've seen the Heat do it. We've seen some other teams have a low seeding rank and still make it to 2nd, 3rd, even the finals. So I think it's less about where you guys finish in the regular season, even though I do predict you guys to be one of the top, 2-3 teams in the East. Championships aren't guaranteed. LeBron can pick whoever he thinks is the best chance to win a championship, and still things go south. So,
yeah, of course.
To be fair, I think Miami's the best fit. I don't know if he's still chasing that ring thing as much. I think if it works out, he's excited about it. Like, kind of like if it comes along with where he wants to go. I think he goes to Cleveland for the nostalgia aspect of it and it being his hometown, not necessarily because they have a better chance with him to win a championship than with him in Miami. But I do think it's probably close enough. Like if Cleveland was rebuilding or bottom of the barrel right now, I don't think it would be even close. Like,
Mhm.
but I think it's close enough to where he might want to ride out his career in his home. So, but when I say I think it's going to be Cleveland, I'm like 55-45 on it. Not 60, 70, 80% it's going to be Cleveland because it's LeBron. You never know with LeBron. He'd go
Right.
anywhere. But out of
Right.
those two options, even though Miami is the better fit and I think gives him a better chance to win another championship, I don't think Cleveland is so bad that it takes him out of the running anymore. So I think for the sake of just nostalgia and where he's from, I think he goes to Cleveland.
Let me ask you this question. I was going to ask you this last week. What do you think I'm happier about? Giannis in Miami or Tyler Hero being gone?
Well, you've been waiting for both for so long. If it was
That's what I'm asking.
me,
That's what I'm asking.
I the reason you're asking is because the answer is Tyler Hero.
Yes.
Okay, because otherwise you wouldn't need to ask me. So it's a silly question to ask because I already know the answer to it. However, if it was me, I tend to be more excited about what I have coming in than what I have going out. You can be excited about who's going out, but the reason is he's leaving to get you the prized possession you've been waiting on.
I am
So
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 happy.
just in that, he got you what you needed. The appreciation level should come from at least that, you know.
I am so happy. So happy. I have
Hey,
been dancing.
don't blame Tyler here. Blame Pat Riley.
I have
Pat
been
Riley's the reason he's been on your team for so long.
I've been dancing on his grave for so long. I am so fucking happy that Tyler Hero is gone. Okay. I am. He
Listen, you always say in Pat we trust.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Pat Riley drafted
Look,
him, and Pat Riley kept him on your team for how long? 8 years, something
look,
like that.
I will never, ever,
Say Pat Riley got that one
ever,
wrong. Say it.
ever say anything bad about Pat
You,
Riley. It ain't
you don't
happening.
have to say anything bad about him to
It ain't
say he
happening.
got that one wrong.
And like I said last week, everyone who said Pat was washed and old and retired and got dementia and can't do it no more can suck a dick and choke on it. Okay? Just like I said last week. Oh.
This one would have fallen into anyone's lap. There wasn't a lot of great. This is what I want to talk about.
What's up?
Luka traded. Giannis traded. Kawhi traded. What was the other big name? Maybe I'm just. Anyways, we saw what Mikal Bridges got traded for. We see what Desmond Bain got traded for. You saw what Rudy Gobert got traded for. Where, or Jaylen Brown was the other one. Where is like the commonality in all these trades? Like, there's no floor. There's no. It seems like the elite stars that no one thinks is going to be traded or should be traded, that when they are, the package nowadays is not what it used to be for some of these stars.
Right.
What happened? What happened? Why did Luka not get more? I mean, we know why, because they didn't open up the market for him.
Yeah.
But like, why didn't Luka get more? Why didn't I guess with Kawhi, you have some concerns, but like even the Giannis trade, Miami did have the best offer, especially if the league feels a certain kind of way about Jaylen Brown, right or wrong. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying if that's the market for a guy, then what's that say about what teams are willing to give up for stars now? Because the package wasn't, didn't get you anything in return that was like amazing. None of these trades really got you anything in return that was worth or even close to worth what you're giving up. And it seems like some of the value on like when a team really needs something specific, it's almost like teams are willing to pay just as much for that piece as they are some of these stars when the timing of the star becomes available. It's just been interesting to me because to me, no one has gotten even close to what it seemed like they should have gotten in these big star trades when the teams feel like they need to give them up. And I don't know if that's like a newer trend, but it's something I've been noticing. And I just like, is it just about timing and being the right phone call? Like when you make your offer, is it just about that, or is it really they're getting the best deal that they can? Like it just seems so strange to me.
So let's use Milwaukee as an example. If you're going to rebuild, a slow rebuild, 5, 6 years, look at San Antonio, look at OKC. If you're going to rebuild, you have to get rid of bad contracts. One.
Mhm.
Two, you want to get as many draft picks as you can, right?
Mhm.
So Boston dangling Jaylen Brown to Milwaukee didn't make sense because Milwaukee didn't want to get a big contract. Boston only had 2 draft picks. Miami gave you what, 5 young players and 4 draft picks? That was the best deal.
It
You know what I'm
only
saying?
makes sense if you flip Jaylen Brown
Right, right. If they
for
were to flip them, yeah,
for the stuff. Yeah.
right. So that's why Boston should have never made. They should have never made offer because they wasn't going to touch Miami's offer based on what Milwaukee wanted to do. Milwaukee's doing a straight, clean rebuild because Tyler Hero's contract is coming off next season. Okay,
So
so that's going to.
they should have. Do you think they knew that Jaylen Brown didn't have a market before that, or did they think Jaylen Brown's market would be higher and they didn't realize just how bad it was? And if that's the case, not every team is ran by their analytics department. Why didn't someone value JB?
No, that's the narrative though. That's the narrative they want to put out that teams didn't value him. No, 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 no. That's not what it was. Okay, Boston should have, for whatever reason. Okay, everybody wants Giannis. Call whatever. I get it.
Mhm.
They should have never did. They should have never put Jaylen Brown out there because other teams knew at that point by the character of Jaylen Brown, which is a stand-up individual, he might not want to come back to Boston.
Mhm.
If he does come back to Boston, he might then cause a problem. Let's say Jimmy Butler, for example, right? He hasn't done it before, but he might. So now Boston's looking at it like, oh, fuck. We got to get him out of here at all costs. No matter the deal, if we can get a couple of draft picks, fine. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Boston were the ones that devalued, quote unquote, devalued Jaylen Brown. The narrative wasn't that people didn't want him. No, Boston devalued him. Okay, by making a phone call that they never should have fucking made. Look, the Orlando Magic could have offered Milwaukee more than fucking Boston. And that's, I'm being real. As far as young talent on cheap contracts. See what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Boston,
Mhm.
this is what I'm going to say. Then I'm going to ask you another question. One of the narratives was, the slanderous narratives was, Jaylen Brown thought he was the smartest man in the room. Come to find out, it looks like Brad Stevens thought he was the smartest man in the room. And it backfired. You played
Mhm.
yourself, bro. You played yourself. Um,
That's
who?
where I've seen
No, look.
Boston people
Mhm.
wonder if this was all Brad Stevens' idea because it seems like such a stupid idea.
No, it
And
was it.
and they've been giving him the benefit of the doubt because he hasn't made stupid moves before. That's why there's like a conspiracy side to this as well, where people are wondering what happened behind the scenes because it seemed like such a boneheaded move on Brad Stevenson's part, and he has yet to make these boneheaded moves. So do you think his bosses or ownership told him something that he didn't want to do, or do you think this is all Brad Stevens?
I think this is all Brad Stevens, and it was a desperation move
Okay.
um, to prevent. Look, people can laugh at me. I don't give a fuck. I've said this 1,000 times on this podcast. Giannis has always wanted to be in Miami. Just the biggest non-secret out. Do you think the Celtics wanted to see that happen? No. Other teams don't care. Y'all don't care. Atlanta don't care. Yeah, fine. But
But if they
Boston,
didn't want to see that, why were they okay with seeing Jaylen Brown right next door? Why is that
because,
okay, but not Giannis to Miami?
because they value Jason Tatum as the golden boy more than they value Jaylen Brown. Because
I'll tell you
Jason
something.
Tatum,
If JT didn't have a problem with JB, but
mm,
JT could be very interested in seeing how the team goes with just him. And if he doesn't deliver this season,
mhm.
this could blow up and hit Tatum's face way more than he maybe ever thought.
Look,
Because now he's gonna have more pressure to
oh yeah,
perform than ever.
look. The slander got so bad this week against Jaylen Brown that they went to not this year, but prior years and say, look, this how much the Celtics win without Jaylen Brown, and this how much the Celtics win without Jason Tatum. What the fuck
Mhm.
did Jaylen Brown do this year? No one expected them to be the second seed. No
He was
one.
the he listen. He was the seventh worst player on that team. No, it's created it's it's brought to the surface a bigger argument that people have been low key having for a while,
Yes.
and that's how much of the eye test and how much of the stats world do you take with like a grain of like which one is more important? And I would say there's tons of elements that all play into getting the right picture, right? It's not all just eye tests, it's not all just stats, but I think people have been heavily for like the last 20 years putting way more emphasis on the statistical end. And sometimes it leads you in a direction like this where it's so obvious. It's not like Jaylen Brown's a role player. He's averaging 30. He's a finals MVP. He kept your team afloat when your other quote unquote 1A guy
Mhm.
went down. At that point, your stats can tell you what you want. The results speak for themselves. So that's why I was texting in the group chat. I was like, this Boston move has so many angles to it, from conspiracy to basketball fits for both teams to what went on, the stats compared to the eye test. There's so many interesting parts that got brought up through this trade that's been fascinating. And it's been giving everybody something to talk about because it brings up questions and it goes into parts of the NBA world that few trades usually touch all these things. And it's just been fascinating.
Yeah. And you know, I hated to bombard y'all in the group chat of all the coverage. And half the shit I saw, I didn't even send y'all because I know Pat was absolutely exhausted from it. And I understand why. But you hit the nail on the head. This was I never thought I would see a trade as bad as Lucas, but goddamn it, here we are. Okay. And you're right. This season, based on what happened last season, mind you, Jaylen Brown had a depleted roster too. Like it was just him and a bunch of
Mhm.
Peyton Pritchard.
No big guy, no
No
big name.
bigs. Yeah. Jason Tatum has to have the season of his life. Because
Now,
JB gonna be
Boston.
okay in Philly.
Oh, JB's gonna have arguably a better. You know how mad and how driven JB is gonna be. Boston's team is better this year than
Yes.
it was last year.
Yes.
So they are giving Tatum a bit of a cushion compared to what they gave Brown to work with. I will say
Mhm.
that.
Mhm. Look, Jason Tatum, he need to be an MVP this year. I'm telling you, bro. He has to go.
Well, he's always in those talks, anyways. I mean, he's on the fringe talks of them. He's not, you know what I mean? After he won, he's been in the fringe.
I've never called
I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just saying if usually if you go to the top 10 or top 8 list, Tatum's on there somewhere. That's all I'm saying.
he he he, he has to be top 3 in MVP conversation. Now, just a quick side note: the person who's really scared is Cade in Detroit. But let's go back to my last question. I want to ask you:
Mhm.
how you feel about Vooch coming back home? I know Cortez had it hard on, but how do you feel about Vooch being back home?
The nostalgia part is cool for it.
Mm.
I would be less excited if we didn't actually need him. We need what he brings off the bench. We need that.
Yeah.
We don't need 20 points and 10 rebounds. We just need someone who can help us score a few buckets off the bench. That's all. And for that, for the minimum, that's what they needed.
Yeah.
The Magic, for all the Magic fan base that got so mad, and you can get mad at Weltman for putting us in a situation to where we can't make moves, even though our top 5 is the reason why we can't make moves, because we're paying for a top 5 that should be winning more games. Okay, so you can blame him for putting us in a position to where we don't have more flexibility to make moves. However, with what we were capable of doing, this was a great signing for us because we had too many spots to fill and too little money to use. So everything that we brought in new or re-signed was going to be on vet minimums. Okay. The rumors were so many teams were looking for centers this offseason that the center market was going to be a bit inflated. Okay. The rumor was Mo Wagner was going to get more money or more offers than what we could pay him. And so I think he got 2 years, like 16 million. I think he got like 8 million or something like that. It was the same with us wanting like Colin Sexton or Anthony Simons or whoever you want to say that the Magic fans wanted. They all got more than the vet minimum. By all accounts, what I'm hearing is Vooch turned down better offers to come back to Orlando for the vet minimum because he said he would like to retire in Orlando. I believe he still has a house here. So I think for what we need and for what Vooch offers, he's still got value in the NBA. He's still useful. And so to get him back on the vet minimum after losing Mo Wagner, or because we were losing Mo Wagner, I think was out of all the very limited moves Orlando could make, that was about as good of a signing as you could make for what we need and for also, just the fun nostalgia side of it. Because I've seen there's been more fans upset about it than what I've seen because the circles I run in, it was mostly all positive. But there was one guy I went back and forth with a couple times because he was really holding those old teams against Vooch. He was just bashing it and bashing everyone who was excited about it. He's like, he's not a winning player, all these things, and it brought up some bad memories. But I pretty much got on there and I said, this is dumb. I called him dumb. I was like, to blame Vooch for the team that Rob Hennigan put around him and the misuse of roles. I was like, that's not Vooch's fault.
Yeah.
Vooch, it's not Vooch's problem that we put him on a sinking ship and said, go be the best player out there. That's not Vooch's fault. So for Vooch to be as good as he was for so long, and that's what the thing he was saying was like empty stats on a losing team. Like, and Vooch isn't a winning player. Why would we want him back? And I was like, the role that Vooch is going to play for this team is nothing even close to what he did when he was here before. He's not starting. He's not the best scorer on the team. There's none of these things. He's coming off the bench in limited minutes to help us score a few points on whenever he's in. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So for what he is coming back, the sentimental value, it's all fun. I didn't hate Vooch. I always really appreciated Vooch, even though we didn't win when he was here. But for the role and the fit and the signing and the money, all those things,
It worked.
that it was perfect for
Mhm.
what we needed. It was perfect, and we didn't make any other moves. So, of these, it's really the only thing to speak of that the Magic have done all offseason to even bring up at all. I wasn't even gonna bring it up because it's such a small detail in terms of everything else that's went on. But in terms of having him back, I'm excited for that. And then because of the basketball fit and the cost, I was thrilled with it. Thrilled with it. I was excited. Yeah.
Well, we're going to wrap it up for today's podcast. But like I said, tomorrow, these trades and some of these signings become official. Um,
That
and
last segment was for Pat because he knows we can't go a segment on here when I'm on here without talking about his favorite team, the Orlando Tragic, as he likes to call us. And I hope you really enjoy your team of misfit toys. And when Walker Kessler is a huge terrible letdown and one of the worst contracts in the NBA, I hope they can't move him. They're just stuck with him, and then they squander Luca's prime years in LA. That's what I hope happens.
Pat, I love you, but man, when you was crashing out in that group chat for a day, you were crashing all out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please like, subscribe, and share our whoa. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. Drop comments below. We always respond. Everyone stay safe, and we are out.